Today we'll be working in my workbook called The 38 Years of Wandering, and this covers numbers 15 through 19 with also numbers 33, 16 to 36. And looking at the table, looking at our little graph, we're right here in numbers, but they've already marched out. They're now wandering in the wilderness. And we're going to go actually do the, first. We're actually going to kind of review what's happened so far. Numbers chapters 1 through 14 describe the organization, preparation, and eventual failure of the first generation of Israelites to enter the Promised Land, marking a transition from freedom to 40-year wilderness punishment. First, organization and census, chapters 1 through 4, God commands a census of all men 20 years or older capable of fighting, resulting in 603,550 men, excluding Levites, about 2 million people with Levites, women, and children. The tribes are arranged in a specific orderly camp structure around the tabernacle, which is placed in the center to signify God's presence. Preparation for journey, chapters 5 through 10, instructions are given for the purity in the camp, the Nazirite vow, the Levites' duties. The second Passover is celebrated, and the cloud of God's presence lifts, signaling the journey from Mount Sinai to the wilderness of Paran. Complaints and disobedience. Chapters 11 through 12, the people began to complain about their hardships, leading to divine judgment. Miriam and Aaron challenge Moses' authority. The spies and rebellion, chapters 13 and 14. Moses sends 12 spies to scout Canaan. Despite finding a fruitful land, 10 spies give a negative report, causing the people to fear, rebel, and attempt to return to Egypt. The 2 spies that give a good report were Caleb of the tribe of Judah, and Joshua of the tribe of Ephraim. Judgment, chapter 14. Because of their lack of faith and their constant complaining, God decrees that the adult generation, except for Joshua and Caleb, will not enter the promised land and will wander for 40 years until they die. So now we're going to, looking at the table of contents, we are going to be working on the first chapter of this book, which is this one, The Laws of Grain and Drink Offerings, Numbers 15, 1 through 21.
That's a cute diagram picture. I like that.
Okay. Go ahead.
The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, after you enter the land I am giving you as a home."
To understand the significance of this statement, we have to look back to what has happened. When they left the base of Mount Sinai, where was the destination known so far?
Wilderness of Paran.
Right. Were the people happy as they traveled, or did they complain?
Complain.
After much complaining, did the Lord just let it go, or did he punish the Israelites for their complaining?
Divine punishment.
Yeah. Of the 12 spies who went out into the land of Canaan, how many spies gave a negative report?
10.
Who were the 2 spies that gave a positive report?
Caleb and Joshua.
Since the Israelites are not willing to enter the promised land, how long were they to wander before God would allow them to enter?
40 years.
40 years, yeah. Technically 38 more, but 40.
Right.
Who had to die before the Israelites got to enter the promised land?
Adult generation.
Right. This probably does not include the Levites, as they were not part of the spies, and there is evidence that at least some of them entered the new land. That is where Numbers 14 ends, with the sentence of 38 more years of wandering the wilderness. Yet what does God start his instructions to Moses with in the verse above?
Speak to the Israelites and tell them, after you enter the land I am giving you as a home.
So this is a sense of, okay, yes, it is there, it will come.
And you present to the Lord food offerings from the herd or the flock as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, whether burnt offerings or sacrifices for special vows or free will offerings or festival offerings. Then the person who brings an offering shall present to the Lord a grain offering of 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of olive oil.
God is about to add a procedure to which offering, food or drink?
Food.
Mm-hmm. This change is for 3 specific types of offerings. Special
vows.
This would be like a Nazirite vow or other special promises made to God. Blank offerings.
Free will.
These are the voluntary gifts given to the Lord. And what offerings?
Festival.
The festivals would be the Sabbath, the new moon, and the Passover at this time. There obviously will be more festivals later. With these offerings, after they enter the promised land, the Israelites should include what?
Grain offering.
Right.
Mm.
So obviously, since they don't measure their food the same way we do, I was trying to get this an understanding. Okay, how much of the finest flour was to be offered?
1/10 of an ephron.
Right. An ephah equals how much in dry quarts?
20 dry quarts.
Mm-hmm. A tenth of this amount would be how many quarts?
2.
Yeah. How much of the olive oil was to be offered?
A hin.
How much pints in a hin?
7.75.
Right. 1/4 of a hin in pints is what? Use 8. Use 8 over 4.
2 pints.
Right. Therefore, in Numbers 15:4, we have how many dry quarts?
2.
And of grain mixed with how many pints of olive oil?
2.
Right. It gives us a better understanding of what they're talking about.
Yeah. With each lamb for the burnt offering or the sacrifice, prepare 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. With a ram, prepare a grain offering of 2/10 of an ephraim. If I never can pronounce that.
Yeah.
Of the finest flour mixed with 1/3 of a hin of olive oil and 1/3 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. Offer it as an aroma pleasing to the Lord.
Now, for each lamb offered, again, after the Israelites entered the promised land, aside from the grain offering of verse 4, what are they to also include in verse 5?
Lamb for burnt offering, 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering.
Right. Again, based on number 6 on the prior page, how many pints is that?
2 pints.
Compare the offering shown in verse 6 with the offering in verse 4. Is the offering in verse 6 more or less?
More.
This is because a ram is bigger and more valuable. Consider for the moment why these add-ons would wait until they were in the promised land. Flour comes from what?
Wheat.
How do you get this?
You plant it.
Right. Olive oil comes from what?
Olive tree.
And how do you get these?
You plant that too.
Yeah, and wine comes from what?
Grapes.
Right. And how do you get these? You have a vineyard.
Grow it. Yeah.
I know this is stupid, but at the same time, it's hard sometimes to realize that these things were given to them before they even had a chance to do anything about it. And we sometimes think, okay, so they're going to just apply this, but they can't apply it until they have a chance to grow it or do it.
Yeah.
Remember, the Lord told Moses, and the spies agreed that the promised land was the land of milk and honey. So they're going to be able to do all that and supply all that.
Okay. When you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering or sacrifice for a special vow or a fellowship offering to the Lord, bring with the bull a grain of offering of 3/10 of an Ephraim. I keep saying it Ephraim, but it's not Ephraim. Ephan of the finest flour mixed with 1/2 of a hin of olive oil, and also bring 1/2 a hin of wine as a drink offering. This will be food offering and aroma pleasing to the Lord.
So how much grain offering for a lamb?
1/10 of an ephah.
And how about a ram?
2/10.
And how about a young bull?
3/10.
3/10. Yeah. How much olive oil for a lamb?
1/4 of hin.
And a ram?
1/3.
And a young bull?
1/2.
And how much wine for a lamb?
1/4.
A ram?
1/3.
And a young bull?
1/2.
Right. Go ahead.
Each bull or ram, each lamb or young goat is to be prepared in this manner. Do this for each one. For as many as you prepare, Everyone who is native born must do these things in this way when they present a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. For the generations to come, whenever a foreigner or anyone else living among you present a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, they must do exactly as you do.
So basically, the Lord loves a good barbecue. A young goat was not specified in verses 5 through 7. Based on size, what other type of animal offering would it compare to?
Goat.
Well, it'd be compared to a lamb, right?
Oh,
A young goat is compared to a lamb because he
yeah.
gave instructions on a lamb, but he didn't on a goat. It would be like a lamb. Native born doesn't mean the same as we would use it. For us, native born means you were born in the United States or whatever country this is taught in. For the Israelites, it would mean what?
Israelite.
Right, being an Israelite.
Yeah.
Then the opposite of native born is foreigner. Technically, all the Israelites are foreigners based on our description of coming from another country as they're wandering a land not their own. So, what do the Israelites really mean by a foreigner here?
They believe non-Israelites were foreigners.
Right. Anyone else living among you that is neither native born nor foreigner are those foreigners who are only traveling through or staying for a short time. Are all types of people, native born, foreigner, and everyone else living with them to follow these same rules regarding presenting a food offering?
Yes. Okay. The community is to have the same rules for you and for the foreigners residing among you. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. You and the foreigners shall be the same before the Lord. The same laws and regulations will apply both to you and to the foreigners residing among you.
Right. This is a great picture. When I get pictures from Google, sometimes I have a hard time finding a picture that represents the story. This is actually a picture of the three wives of Abraham, Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah. But it worked well for this situation too.
Wow.
Yeah. Keturah, this would be Hagar over here, the black, and then Keturah would be the young one, and then Sarah, of course, in the middle. But
Okay.
go ahead.
I'm just writing this down on the
Oh,
picture.
yeah. I know. I just sometimes the pictures are hard to get, and so I know what they
Yeah.
came from. So
Okay. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land to which I am taking you, and you eat the food of the land, present a portion as an offering to the Lord. Present a loaf from the first of your ground meal and present it as an offering from the threshing floor. Throughout the generations to come, you are to give this offering to the Lord from the first of your ground meal."
is the Lord still just speaking to Moses?
Yes.
Is this command for now or when they enter the promised land?
Into the promised land.
What does the food of the land mean? What kind of food is it? How do you get food of the land?
Growing crops.
Right. Therefore, this would mean after they enter the promised land, claim land as their own, and spend a year growing crops. So it's actually, quite a time, actually. What are the Israelites to do when they start to eat the food of the land?
Present a loaf from the first of your ground meal and present it as an offering.
Right. Although there are many foods of the land, what is specifically mentioned here?
Grain bread.
Right. Does this just happen the first year they eat the food of the land, or every year when they make their ground meal for their first grain harvest?
Throughout the generations.
Yep. So, and that's the end of that chapter. Okay, 3. The tenth of an ephah, or 2 quarts, is known as a
Omar.
Number 4. Adding to the food offering is flour mixed with
Olive.
oil. 5. Blank born here means coming from one of the 12 tribes.
Native.
9. The 3 types of offerings this change pertains to are special vows
Free will.
and festival offerings. 10, when sacrificing a goat, the additional grain and drink offering is like that of a,
Lamb.
okay, one down. In these verses, the Lord only spoke to
Moses.
2, the land of Canaan is also known to the Israelites as the
Promise.
land. 6, which one has the most grain and drink offering, lamb, ram, or bull?
Bull.
The festivals at this time are the
Sabbath.
new moon, and the Passover. In addition to the grain offerings, there will be also a drink offering of,
Wine.
so that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah, that was interesting as far as how they do their measuring. That was really